And welcome to another episode of Skip the Noise podcast.
we suck so badly at these intros without Ben. I mean, we have zero intro ability, and as you can tell tonight, it's just the Brown Python and myself. Mexican Nostradamus. We are missing Benjamin James, so yeah, we're not really good at it. But nonetheless, welcome to the podcast, guys. We got a bunch of great stories for you tonight. We're gonna talk about Austin. No power in Austin. And apparently we have Chinese spy balloons floating over us. We got some Tyre Nichols rumors tonight. We're also gonna hit on some Chinese grain mills, and also we're gonna talk about if you're an amputee, you should not run away from the police because they're gonna fuck you up too. And if you're a council member in New Jersey, you probably need to really be careful. But at the same time, if you're Elon Omar, probably not going to have any type of committee that you're assigned to. So
very nice.
We got plenty to talk about. We got tons of stuff to do, but I want to go ahead and hit on first on, of course, the local stories, which are the Great Ice Mageddon again. So
it's not that bad. Not here, dude. Here in Houston, we lucked out, man. We lucked out. We got 40-degree weather. It's humid as hell. But we got Galveston, and we're not freezing. There's no ice on the roads.
Yep. I cannot say the same. I cannot say the same for DFW, which was completely and utterly locked down for roughly 3 days. School was canceled for 4 of the 5 days of this week. Starting, so basically, a lot of school districts even canceled tomorrow because we had half an inch of raindrop or inch of rain, and the temperatures are plunging back into the 20s. So everything's going to be iced up at least tomorrow morning. And then when the sun comes out, And then when the sun comes out, it'll melt. But they want to make sure that kids aren't like breaking their legs on the sidewalks trying to get to the bus. So
wait, is school canceled?
Yep, school's canceled in the district my kids go to. So we got all that going on. So it's kind of it's just one of those, I guess for me, it's always going to be one of those sore subjects, right? Because we continue to have, that and Fort Worth and vehemently, Austin. But in Austin, don't really like Austin either. But the big problem, I think, with all that is that we continue to have these massive inclement weather events that are once in a lifetime. They finally stopped saying it. It's happened like 4 or 5 years in a row, and they finally stopped saying once in a lifetime. I mean, and this has happened every time, guys. They'll say, "Oh, it's a once in a lifetime event," and and no. After it happens like 5 or 6 times in a row, it's not longer once in a lifetime. But we actually have zero infrastructure, huh?
It's like here in Houston, they say, "Oh, it's a 500-year flood. Oh, it's a 200-year flood." No, dude, it's a 10-year flood. It shit happens every 10 years.
At least, if not more.
At least, if not more. But at least every 10 years, you're going to get a major flood here in Houston. And then if you're unlucky, if you lived here long enough, you'll know that it's maybe 6 to 10 years.
Right.
You're going to get 2.
And you're smart enough, if you lived in Houston long enough, to know where not to buy a house, because that same place is fucked. So it's almost, I feel so bad for the people that usually get flooded. It's because they have no idea. They're like, "Oh, I'm gonna love this house. Yeah, it's a great deal. Go ahead and buy. Sign right here. Do you think I need flood insurance? Nah, you're good. It never floods.
What
here.
if my neighbor's house
once every 500 years?
Fortress?
Huh?
Why does my neighbor's house look like it's in a fortress? What's up with that 6-foot high elevation there?
Yeah, why does he have a moat and like 15-foot drainage pipes? Oh, he's one of those silly preppers. Yeah. He's a Trumper. No. Nonetheless,
pretty much.
Another huge, crazy inclement weather that's locked down most of the state with ice, especially the northern part of the state. But once again, Greg Abbott has come under fire for the fact that the power grid seems to have problems. In particular, 1 out of every 3 Austinites, I guess that's what they call themselves,
Austinites,
did not have power over this storm. Once again, once again. So, he tried to say there was plenty of power in the grid, et cetera, but was there? You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know what happened? This was not like the other storm.
Yeah,
there was a lot of wind that came through. There was a lot of debris that came through. So it wasn't caused by the cold. It wasn't because there was an overload of electricity or people using it. It was infrastructure. The trees came and blew down power lines.
Yep.
That kind of thing happened. So it's
Right.
not the same.
Well, right, but he's still taking a hit. He's still kind of looking pretty shitty. It's not like it's hard for him to do.
He's
that,
got to
right?
walk the walk. I mean,
He keeps talking about. I mean, what we oh boy. Oh boy, I don't even know how to go from that one. But nonetheless, hopefully it's not the walk of shame. So moving on. He once again is being blamed for these power outages, for all these problems. Jesus Christ, Rick. Oh my God. That's your boy too. God damn it. Like,
I gotta say it. I had to say it, man.
Man.
I
Oh
couldn't miss an
boy.
opportunity.
Cuts both ways, ladies and gentlemen. Cuts both ways. But so once again, we have another infrastructure breakdown in particular, Austin. But a lot of people are, of course, calling him out. But like you said, and I tend to agree with what you're saying, this was more of a city problem. This is more of the infrastructure that's mainly around Austin, because basically, I think the power grid worked substantially well, right?
Yeah, it held up, man.
Yeah.
I mean, did you lose power in Dallas?
No, I mean, not that I know of. There's very few power outages at all in Dallas, Fort Worth area. I think there was spotty, but that was mainly because of, infrastructure and power lines that were frozen over, like you stated. So I don't really know. And don't get me wrong. Anytime I get a chance to jump with this guy or make him jump, I go for it. But I think in this situation, he's not really to blame, right? I mean, unless these power companies reinvest more money into their system and their grids and put the lines underground, what I'm saying, to try to make it less of a situation, then that's a whole different thing. But could there be state regulations that start mandating that? I mean, it's probably not a bad idea, but
Hey, how are the roads in Dallas, by the way?
Oh, fuck off. I don't even want to talk about it. It's just stupidity. I mean, but I can't blame Greg Abbott for that, right? I can't. Because I can blame my local city leaders, because once again, I mean, dude, they were you cannot drive through DFW at all. I mean, our freeways were basically shut down.
Ice.
Cobblestone ice, the 2 inches of cobblestone ice on the surface. I mean, multiple wrecks. Whole place was a wreck. And it's because we don't have, we have plenty of money to build high school, 150, 200, $300 million high school football stadiums.
Nice.
But we don't have enough money to pay for, adequate, salting trucks or icing equipment. Because I mean, and this shouldn't come as no surprise, but last time we did have icing, we used icing trucks in the city of Fort Worth. And of course, this is allegedly, this was before I think it was 102 car pileup that cost, I think 6 souls were extinguished that day. Right before the wreck, the area had been sprayed down by a salting truck. And lo and behold, there's pretty high probability that what they used was not the correct mixture. They could have further worsened and basically created black ice, which caused just a horrible, horrible tragedy. So It's just an infrastructure. But see, I can't, and that once again, going to that, you can't blame Greg Abbott, right?
You got to blame the county, the city.
Yeah. And they continue to do this. And so Austinites and people that want to say, oh, well, I told you your power grid is jacked. Well, no, that's an infrastructure for the city. And, the city of Austin is a very progressive, liberal leadership.
Yeah, Austin, so what the fuck, man? What happened?
But the leadership of Fort Worth is also very not progressive or liberal. So, what I'm saying? You can see it from both sides. Neither one of them have done what it took to protect their city, and we were shut down. I cannot imagine how many billions of dollars were lost for a massive city complex of, I think, 4 to 5 million people was completely shut down for 3 days.
Yeah.
That's the reality, crazy. Right? Yeah, that's the reality of it. That is the reality of it. And now, guess what? Now kids lost time at school. and plenty of property damage. So,
dude, well, it took a nice storm to cancel school in DFW.
yes.
HISD will cancel school if the Astros win. Okay,
you know what? It's important.
Yeah.
You know why? Because if the
Why?
Astros win, you need to be at the parade. Okay, I'm sorry. There's some
No,
things worth
no,
it.
dude.
Yes, there is. Okay, bro. No, look. You may take away my AP African American history course, but you're not taking away my day off when the fucking Stros win. Okay, there's just sometimes you have to put it down where it has to be. And
I'm pretty sure the kids are going to be off during draft day for the Texans.
And they should be because we need it. We need it. We need all the prayers. We need everyone at the moment that they make the pick to really pray that this one doesn't just go to shit, or rather not that this is not the only player we get that's good ever again. I mean, you have JJ Watt. I mean, that was it.
They squandered that dude.
Yeah, they squandered the shit out of, and that guy was a machine.
Yeah,
he was a great player and very.
He squandered D-Hop.
Oh,
DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. They squandered everybody. They just screwed everyone up. Man. They just screwed them all up. It's just a bad team. But moving on, something that wasn't squandered, and I actually forgot to mention this in our initial notes. Well, wasn't squandered was the profit margin that Shell reported. So what? Shell Oil, yeah. So if you have known, Shell Oil reports a profit of $39.9 billion. You know what their profit was last year?
What's that?
I believe the year before is in the 20s.
Well, I mean, it's because of COVID, and they're making those profits from 2020
and from price gouging and all these other wonderful things. These wonderful
demand's gone up. I mean, things have happened. It's all relative, man. Don't worry about it. Don't even read it. Come on, let's move on to the next story.
Oh boy! Of course we are. Of course we are. As now we have. I mean, this is a big week for Wall Street. I mean, of course, the Fed raised rates by only 0.25%, as he says that we have now engaged a level of deflation. It's starting to naturally which is bullshit. That's not true. But we also saw huge profit margins from all the oil companies. Huge profit margins from several drug manufacturers, and also on the car front, an interesting profit margin release we saw was GM. Not only they bested their, typically companies release a scale where they'll be profit margin wise for the year. GM bested their own scale. Really? They went beyond their best estimate, right? Whereas Ford crashed, lost $2 billion. That's what the CEO said, that they left $2 billion on the table, even though they did actually have a profit margin of somewhere around $9 billion. They had to lower their overall, $10 billion or something. They had to lower their overall aspect from 11.5, which you would think, well, 1.5 billion, et cetera, in that type of situation, but it's still a substantial amount of money. So they did lose. Ford lost some money today, which is good because I think
they're gouging, man. They're 40,000 over MSRP.
Yeah. Oh no, trust me, ladies and gentlemen, I may be sucked into this FOMO with these Broncos.
No,
it could happen. It could happen. I might be getting a Bronco, but they are charging.
Don't feed into the machine, man.
I know. I'm trying not to, ladies and gentlemen. I'm doing my best, but I'm probably not gonna do it. But who knows?
It's like I'm trying to stop you from putting in that dollar bill to the candy machine, because your candy's gonna get stuck, and I keep telling you, and you're like, no, I want to put this dollar in the machine.
The bag of chips just stays right there. Well, look. The good thing is that no matter what, I'm one of those people that would, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. But we shall see. But we do see a massive, we do see a lot of Wall Street movement, and so nonetheless, I did want to report some of these different profits, in particular what you saw with Shell, and what you're seeing with a lot of these other companies. They're still reporting these massive profits despite supposed supply constraints, the cost, wholesale cost of goods, manufacturing costs. Despite all these things that they've claimed throughout the year have just exceeded, I've heard 30-40%, somehow their profit margins are higher than they have ever been. So at some point you have to ask yourself, who's fucking lying, right? Like, sometimes you have to ask, like, okay, well, wait. You say it costs more to make something, and you're selling less of it, but now you're making more money than you've almost ever made.
All right, so their claim to that is that it's a volume thing. There are just more people using that product, and they're making more profit off the pennies versus making a profit off the dollars and less people.
Right. Well, they're trying. Well, that's I guess kind of the concept they're trying to state. But the only problem is they're trying to say. I see. I don't think so. I think while they're saying their sales are down volumetrically, I don't think that's necessarily true. I think they're pumping the volume. I just think it's artificial constraints. And this is something that we've seen in industry forever, right? Artificial constraints to try to drive up,
especially our food
demand. Exactly. Food, drugs, you name it, ladies and gentlemen. There have always been artificial constraints placed on them. I mean, once again, to touch back on the egg thing, but if you really look at this this bird flu, it only affected anywhere from 3 to 5% of the total flock.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes you go, what? Wait, 3 to 5%, and that's enough to triple the cost of eggs? There's a lot of fuckery going on, but nonetheless, it's a big Wall Street moment. We did see the Fed kind of calming down with the interest rate hike at 0.25. They are going, I think, for overall 5.5%. In their loan thing, so it'll still be relatively high, but they are saying deflation. But what they really mean to say is you're going to get paid less, right? Because that's what they really were coming after. They were coming after wages. See, if you reduce how much you get paid, well, then you reduce the overall cost of business, and that's part of this index, right? So they're just going to pay you less, and the things may cost less. But if you look at the overall inverse of how you actually do with your pay versus the cost of the good, you still end up in a pretty shitty situation, right?
Hey, talking about pay and all that stuff. You reminded me that I have a job, right? I was using guess what I started using recently for marketing? ChatGPT.
Oh boy.
ChatGPT. I started using ChatGPT for marketing. Huh?
That's what all of our jobs are going down.
Dude, that is trippy, man. This thing comes up with bullshit that just by typing a few words. My experience was I wanted to type in something having to do with clean rooms. And I gave it some parameters. Yeah. I said, who knows about that crap unless you actually studied it, Mm-hmm. That's not that's not a typical person that knows anything about clean rooms. They think, oh, my room's clean, but no, these are sterile environments that you create to create things like medications or machinery or whatever.
All right.
So I typed in a few phrases in there that I said, hey, ChatGPT, I need you to. I literally spoke to it like a person, and I said, I need you to come up with an advertisement that can explain clean rooms in layman's terms. Enter. The thing started typing up like a whole statement, and it made sense. And it cited regulation, and it talked about what the regulation was about, but in layman's terms, and it kept it compact for an advertisement. So it was really cool. I liked it. I was like, damn, this is awesome.
Well, yeah, and then not to chime in on ChatGPT, but I just heard, so there, of course, there's a lot of talk of it. There's going to be a premium ChatGPT.
What does that mean?
So, a better one. So one that
will I have to pay for it?
Yeah, it's $20 a month. But
oh fuck no, man, this was free.
No, but it will do even more than this one does. I'm telling you,
raise my kids.
It might. You tell my kids a fucking bed story. It'll tell it. But that's what I'm saying. So I think that's, if you see the business model, that's where it's going to go, right? That's where it's going to go. So let's say if you want to pass that exam, you want to, my boss wants this picture perfect thing. There you go. The premium service will give you so I was listening to the Rogan podcast when he was talking to Lex Friedman, who I think that's part of his thing is AI, but he's Russian, so only so much you can really take from the situation.
He's Russian.
Russian. And not saying anything. I love a lot of Russian guys. They're great people, fucking good people. You know, they're cool. I've had Russian friends.
Russian ladies are also very nice too.
Yeah. I'm just fucking around. But he started talking about the fact that I think ChatGPT uses something like he uses a bunch of big words. He probably doesn't even fucking understand. When I hear that guy talk, I think he's fucking stupid. But he did say some things regarding the AI programs, and one in particular was that this one used 175 billion neuronic, like something of like a number magnitude. Well, there could be greater ones that use like 1 trillion. So that means that it will have even more information compilers to grab from instantaneously. So really,
wow.
we're looking at the beginning. So maybe the premium one's that. So maybe when you ask it, like, "Hey,
write my dissertation,"
right? It will, and it will do it not only more succinctly, but maybe, and this sounds crazy, it may ask for it to see some of your previous papers. Can you please submit some of the papers that you've written throughout your lifetime?
And then it scans all those Word documents.
And then learns how you do it.
Holy
and
shit.
Then does it to your best extent.
And then you go and get drunk instead of writing your dissertation.
Yep. And then you come in, you present this bullshit dissertation that ChatGPT Premium wrote for you. And the crazy part is that it's indistinguishable from your own thoughts.
That's right.
Man.
That's right, because the teacher usually puts in like a word search just from your papers, and that's how they catch you.
Exactly.
Oh, you got this from Wikipedia, man.
Yeah.
But this is ChatGPT. It learned from you.
Exactly. ChatGPT became the best version of you.
Oh, damn.
Imagine some shit like that. Yeah, right. So anyway, I thought, yeah, just speaking on the concept of ChatGPT, there will be a premium version available at some point. And they say like $20 a month, but I mean, how awesome would that be? I mean, like if you're like, "Hey, ChatGPT, I need the coding sequence for a website that contains this, this, and this, and I needed also this." No problem. You have your line scripts right there. Please do this, enter this, bang.
Dude, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to ask it for lottery numbers. ChatGPT, I need the lottery numbers for next week. Boom.
Better do the premium version. Yeah. But nonetheless, right? There you go. I mean, what I'm saying is that ChatGPT in that sense is going to become a powerhouse. And I hate to say this to everybody, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I think most of our professions are fucked within 10 years, maybe 12.
Yeah. Oh,
it's
definitely.
They're over. So if you're a lawyer, days are done. If you're if you're a pharmacist, days are done. I think if you're a general practitioner, your days are done as a doctor. I think we're going to see the greatest, and it's just crazy because we were talking about this the other day too. We're going to watch the complete death of the mid-level professional. The people that make up, and while look, and I'm not trying to say this in a mean way. A lot of people think that they're middle class. Most of y'all aren't. Let's be to be real. So I think, and this is the real classification of middle class. If you look at our overall structure, how much things cost, things like that. If you don't make at least in the range as a family, 275 to 500, you're not in middle class.
Holy shit.
That's true. It's very true.
Damn.
Like people try to say like, "Oh, I make $80,000." No, you're poor. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's reality. Right, with the average price of a car being $50,000, average price of a house now $395,000, $80,000 is poor a year. You're not middle class, and I think that's the big lie they try to sell people. Like, oh, if you make 50 or 60 grand, you're in poverty at 50 or 60 grand.
Yeah,
that's reality. Can you afford to live? Yeah. Kind of.
Yeah, but are you gonna buy a house? No.
No. Are you gonna buy? No. Are you going on vacations? No. You're not gonna do anything. So I think the reality is the real middle class settles in between the $275,000 to $500,000, or even actually no, $275,000 to $1 million. It's a large stratification for the middle class, but I believe it's.
You think $1 million a year is middle class?
Yes.
Wow.
Joint household, not for a household. And I really do believe it. If you look at some of the prices of things, then you kind of say like, oh, well, yeah. Because I mean, if you think about it, 1960, Average price of a car was $5,000, $4,000, $5,000 or less.
No,
a house costs $12,000.
I mean, you don't even have to go back 60 years.
Yeah.
My parents in the 80s bought their house for $60,000.
Oh yeah,
this is a brick home.
Yep. Mine too.
On 11,000, what is 11,000 square feet? House was about maybe 3,600 square feet, $60,000, dude.
Same thing. My parents bought a house in the late 70s, early 80s, $48,000.
What?
There you go, folks.
Now you're looking at 325, 600.
Yes, the same house is what, 215, 220, and it's 40 years old. But that's what I'm trying to say. So is that if you're and I'm not trying to break anybody's idea, but the reality is that if you're, like I said, if you're in a joint family household that makes less than 275, 250, you're not really middle class. I mean, you're kind of getting there, but you're not there. I think really real middle class starts about 250 and up to about $1 million. And then after $1 million, depending on like options and stuff like that, you would be considered to be like kind of like lower upper class. But that's about it. And also, it also depends on area. You know, $1 million in Texas is different than $1 million in California. So, so I think there's that range.
Maybe you're being a little too harsh. I think maybe if you have $1 million in assets, you'd be.
But everyone does now.
No,
everyone does. A house is what, $400,000 or $500,000. You have two $60,000 cars. All these are payments. No, everyone has everyone at some point that's how we're keeping this machine running, is everyone's going to have like these crazy amount of assets and debt that they have overall.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I think it's really between 275 million. If you make less than that, you're really not middle class, and that's reality. And that's something that should anger you. Because if you have two people working at the average salary of $60,000, those two people should combined at 120 should be middle class.
Yeah, they should.
But they're not. So anyways, with that being said, ChatGPT is about to eradicate that whole class. Oh, so all the people in that 250 to $1 million range will have no jobs.
Hey, but you know what ChatGPT can't do?
What?
ChatGPT can't fix toilets. Can't weld.
True.
Can't make concrete.
Can't do roads. Can't do it.
Can't make houses. Hey, man.
Can't do it.
You better get a trade. You better get a trade.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad idea to think about it. Are you going to have to get used to kind of, you know, you can take all your college education, but if you're only making $15 an hour, it's not going to do shit, folks. So it's not a bad idea to also look into that. But that is kind of what we're running into, right? So, you know, just FYI,
you know, I use my diploma as a mouse pad. That's a really nice mouse pad.
I'll be quite honest with you. I don't even know where mine's at.
I pulled it out because I moved so much. So
I have no idea. I literally do not know where mine's at.
Do you even know what you got it in?
No. It's something liberal arts, of course.
Oh, damn. No way.
Oh man, anyway. I keep finding a sneeze. I keep finding the sneeze. I'm sorry, I keep having to mute. I want to just get it out. Oh boy.
Ever, dude, so when someone's about to sneeze, do you ever go like, achoo, and then they lose it?
I did kind of lose it when you did that. Man. He just did that to me, asshole. Now I'm all stuffed.
I love it.
Oh, bastard. Okay. Well, you know, something that we don't love is the fact that there is currently the Pentagon is tracking a Chinese spy balloon that's over the United States right now. So this is breaking news, like literally breaking news. It was just reported on CNN and the World at 9:14 Eastern Standard Time. And of course, today is February 2nd, 2023. So if we're all fucked, at least we got to you first. But apparently there is the U.S. is tracking a suspected Chinese high-altitude surveillance balloon over the continental United States.
Is it? Is this Fang, Eric Swalwell's girlfriend from China who was a spy?
No, but it might be. But no, seriously, this is happening right now. This is really fucking real. The Chinese floated a big-ass balloon over us, and it's a spy balloon. So it's traveling at altitude that's well above commercial. We have decided not to shoot it down because I guess they said it could pose a safety threat to the people on the ground. We know it belongs to China. So apparently instances of this activity have been observed over the past several years, including prior to this administration. So it's just to get even crazier, the balloon's current flight path carries it over a number of sensitive sites. It does not present a significant intelligence risk. And yeah, so
I mean, what's to stop it from flying over Nevada?
That's where it's going, right? It's flying over sensitive sites. So, how do you, this is some crazy shit, right? I mean, right now, there is a fucking Chinese spy balloon. Like, first off, a balloon, right? They could, that's why, look, folks, not trying to be a hater, but a lot of times when we talk about the U.S. being scared of shit, just remember, China is spying on us with a balloon. Okay, it's not the SR-71, it's not the Blackbird, it's not some super ultra power system.
The X-71 satellite.
Nope, it is a balloon, ladies and gentlemen, a balloon filled with helium that gets it high enough into the atmosphere and it stays there. This is happening. This is happening right now. This is exactly happening right now. We're being spied on by a Chinese balloon. The same, like you almost wonder if there's balloon animals, right? Does Chinese balloon animals play into this? It's fucking nuts. I can't believe this is really happening. This is fucking happening.
No, dude, it's not only that, but you got a balloon, and at the end of this balloon is a camera. Like, what are we talking about? 1800s camera with the little.
No, bro, you know what it is? It's an iPhone. Okay, they tied an iPhone. You ever see the little cases that have the little lanyard thing that loops in? They tied the balloon to the iPhone, and the iPhone's pointed down. And press record, and
they let it go.
And they got the good one. They got the 5 gig, the 512 gig iPhone. You know how there's 256, 120. They got the 512. They splurged on that, and they got the phone pointing down, and with the mic on just in case. They're taking pictures as we speak, and it's pretty fucking funny. I think it was a little disturbing, but apparently there's a reason. I wonder why. So they said this has happened several times in other administrations, which I don't doubt, but I wonder why they're mentioning it now. It's probably because some jerk off was looking through his telescope and saw it, and they to try to head off some type of big media scare, which didn't do much because it's on the front page of CNN. They decided, we're gonna fucking we're gonna jump out ahead of this one. So yeah.
I mean, you don't think they could just have a plane fly by it, and then like some dude comes out of the plane with a stick and just kind of like tries to tie it on the stick and bring it down, like like they do it at restaurants?
I'm pretty sure that's what's happening right now. I'm pretty sure the United States have just made a large pole that they're going to stick into the sky hook with a little bit of tape on the end to try to pull the balloon down. It's pretty fucking funny, folks. I mean, it's pretty ridiculous. It's hilarious because it's hilarious because of how just like archaic using these spy balloons really are. I think it's funny. It reminds me, the first instances of aerial warfare were used with hot air balloons. Right.
Yeah.
They would actually, a lot of times they would use them to survey battlefields. That was, I think, the French, or I forgot who introduced.
It's probably the Germans.
The Germans or the French utilized them to try to survey the battlegrounds, and then someone got a great idea of dropping shit from them. Yeah, and so China right now is doing essentially the same thing, but with a little bit better balloons. So, good going, China. You made yourself look a little bit stupider, and the United States now has a big balloon flying over it. It does remind me. It does remind me of a kid letting go of a balloon at the park, and how you see it, you can't get to it. That's us right now.
We got the stick with a little piece of tape at the end, and we just kind of trying.
We can't get it. We can't get it. We don't want to shoot it down because, well, you don't want to pop your friend's balloon because they might start crying.
Well, not only that, but set on an iPhone, that's just pretty expensive right now. So
right, exactly, and that's a 512 gig hard. That's a 512 iPhone.
Screen.
Okay, it's got a good screen protector, but we're not ensured that it's going to work out as good as we need it to.
I'm pretty sure Apple Care only takes it up to like 2,000 feet in the air?
Maybe.
I don't think it goes all the way that high.
Well, I get how much you want to bet the People's Republic of China tries to get the Apple Care warranty on that thing when it gets back. Okay, they'd be like, it doesn't work. It doesn't work anymore. It doesn't work.
What happened to it?
I don't know.
They shot it down.
No, it's not. No, just it being in the atmosphere. It's like it doesn't work as good as it used to. Well, according to the GPS tracker, it has a GPS tracker on it. Yeah. Oh shit! Hold on. You see him like doing. You see them all freaking out, like, "Oh shit! I don't think we're gonna get a refund." Oh man, it's bullshit. Fuck! What? Who? Why didn't somebody know it didn't have a GPS tracker? Oh, okay. Well, can you prove it? Well, yeah, it's right here. It's been hovering over the United States at over 35 miles in the atmosphere. It's not covered for that. Apple Care. Well, we got Apple Care Plus. That doesn't cover that either. No. Oh shit, whatever.
Not gonna do it.
So it's gonna wipe out this next thing you know, the economy of China's wiped out for 2 years because of this phone. But nonetheless, as China's spying, we also have China trying to build grain mills, I believe, in North Dakota. And the Air Force has decided that this is a significant threat because just lo and behold, China wants to build this big ass grain mill complex or whatever right by a U.S. Air Force base.
Well, they want to feed corn to the Air Force, They want grains. Oatmeal.
Fuck! If it literally, guys, if you ever get a chance, you have to read there's a book called The Art of War by an author the author attributed to Sun Tzu, which was supposed to be a great general. Everything China ever does, their whole strategy is in this book, right? And it's always about feints and counters. And the gathering of intelligence. And you just can tell that they are engaged in this high level of intelligence gathering, sabotage, everything from TikTok to you name it, the influence to the Democratic Party, social media apps, you name it. China's has put money into trying to do it. If you don't know, most of your toll roads in the United States are owned by Chinese companies. Yeah. So these people are so infiltrated into our system that now, that's really what they're doing. And so to do something like this now, it's almost blatantly. It's like, oh, we want to build a corn mill by one of your Air Force bases. You know what I'm saying?
They fight a war in inches.
They do.
They fight a war in inches, inch by inch. 1 inch is an inch gain is an inch gained, And by the time you know it, 1 inch becomes 6 inches. 6 inches becomes 1 foot.
That's game time right there, brother.
Yeah, dude.
You go from 1 inch to a footer. You're popular.
But that's how they do it. That's how they do it. But China, what makes them think that they're going to build this corn mill next to an Air Force and not get flagged for it?
Well, because that's how blatant it is, and also that's how much they grease the wheels of this local government to get it to go. Right? They thought, we'll just pay them off, but apparently, someone in the Air Force was like, wait, hold on, who's building this shit? Okay, look, guys, we understand. All the city council all has brand new Lexuses, and they don't have house loans anymore. Like somehow their houses are paid off. Yeah. We're still gonna block this. You know what I'm saying? It's the money and influence from China that is unbelievable and substantial.
Right. So one thing I learned about the government in all my years of dealing with the government
is that you love them and that you can't wait to hold them in your arms and cuddle them.
The one thing I learned, okay, is don't ever talk to agents, okay, if you're a minority. Hire white people to do your bidding for you when it comes to the government, because white people, they know how to speak government. They know how to speak to their own kind, and that's cool, man. You know what? I'm not gonna hate on that, okay. But these Chinese people who built this corn mill or grain mill, whatever, next to the Air Force should have used some white people to talk to the Air Force.
No, they did. They did, but the Air Force, it was so blatant. Probably they couldn't even cover their own bullshit with this.
They should have named it, Lancaster Grain Mill, owned by Bob I don't know, whatever, Seaver or whatever, think of a name, tractor, just something like that. Anyway,
Exactly.
that's what, yeah. And that's what I've learned about dealing with the government. Okay. Because when I try to talk to them, they ask me questions. They don't know what the hell I'm talking about. They ask me leading questions, which then turn out to be like, what are you trying to get at? But when I have my Caucasian representatives go on my behalf and talk to them for me, things get done quickly, man. It gets done the first time. So anyway, that's what you do.
Right. Well, guess what?
And I don't
so
hate
blatant.
on that. I don't hate on that. You know what? I love white people. There's a very synergistic there's a very synergistic cooperation that goes on in business when you have a variety of people to work with. So
anyway. Boy, I don't even know where this is going, but I kind of like what's happening here because it's organic, but I don't even know where that's going. But nonetheless, I love white people too. So
no, you don't.
Yes, I do. Come on. Hold on a second. No, but in the end, we have this happening. You see all this multiple influence of China. They're fucking flying balloons. They're trying to build grain mills. It's madness, right?
Are they going to produce any actual grains? Because
probably not. No, they're not. They're not. And to be quite honest with you, their population is getting older, and they're in a bad spot. Because guess what? When you tell everyone you can only have one child, and then almost make it a stigma to have a girl, and then murder them all, it's going to fuck up your ability to continue to reproduce. That's one thing and I mentioned that before. They lied about their census. They try to act like they have more people than they do, to try to keep that. That's a country that's dying very quickly, ladies and gentlemen. But anyways, moving on. Talking about death, and unfortunately, we're gonna have to talk about another death.
Really?
Yes. So in where is it at? So
California.
Apparently in Southern California,
SoCal,
a double amputee was in which both legs missing, was in his wheelchair threatening police officers with what they said was a foot-long knife, and which he threatened to throw it at the police officers. And so in an attempt to get away from said police officers, he jumped out, or I don't know how to say it. He got himself out of his wheelchair and began to run away like that, and he was shot and killed by the police officers, who also tased him at some point.
Well,
he's missing legs.
That's why you don't crawl away from the cops. Okay.
Fucking shit. You know what? You don't do anything with the cops, apparently. You don't. I mean, God, come on, dude.
Was he flinging his elbows? Was he like Lieutenant Dan?
Bro,
trying to,
I think I'm not trying to make light of this poor man's death. It's a fucking tragedy. But yeah, he was Lieutenant Danning away from the police officers and got fucking shot, bro. Because they said, and then first off, he's in a wheelchair with a knife. Okay. The functionality of a wheelchair is you have to use both hands to move it.
Yeah.
What? How are you going to stab somebody with a knife if both your hands are moving your chair? So they clearly had what was more likely seems to be probably maybe a mentally agitated, something going on person. And they chose to shoot an amputee that was on the ground, right? This isn't like an amputee that's like a cyborg, right? Or that has those cool curved legs that you see people running in, like you see some of the like in the Paralympics and stuff, which is awesome. I totally think that's amazing. But he didn't have any of that. He had literally no legs and was moving down the sidewalk, or I guess in some type of manner, and he was shot to death. So
I'm thinking, couldn't the police just have used one of those shields and just like approached him and then like,
right? Or well, how about they just kept a distance from him until they could safely control him? Like, hey, he's in a wheelchair. Why don't we get a couple of cars and just circle him? What's he gonna do? And then not only that, he jumped out of his wheelchair. Why don't we just get a group of people to surround him and walk by him, because you only would need to walk this individual?
I have a better idea. Why don't you just grab a net and throw it over him?
Anything. right? Anything other than shoot him to death on the ground. Oh my God.
So apparently, he was Lieutenant Danny in this thing, trying to get away from. Where was he going? That's what I want to know. Was he going to a ditch or something? Or
Lord, check this out. So this is the police said the man allegedly ignored verbal commands and threatened to advance or throw the knife at officers. And then they said officers deployed 2 separate tasers in an attempt to subdue the target, but the tasers were ineffective, which meant they missed. The suspect continued to threaten officers with the butcher knife, resulting in an officer-involved shooting. The man was on the ground with the butcher knife, threatening police officers. He has no legs. And he was shot to death.
I mean, look.
Shot to death.
No, hold on a second. In the defense of the officers, if they would have tried to apprehend him, this man could have grabbed their arm, dragged them down to his level, floor level, and stabbed them. All right. That's what could have happened.
No legs. On the ground.
Let's just say you don't have any legs.
No
you're sitting...
legs.
No. Hold on a second. You have no legs, right? You're sitting on the ground. Your ass, like you're sitting like a chair, but you're on the floor, and you have a knife with you. All right, and a cop gets close to you, and you grab this cop's arm and drag him down to the floor where you're at, and you knife him. That could happen. At that point, yes, you shoot him, but I can see why. I can see why. Maybe they should have used a taser a third time.
Or how about this? How about you just fucking wear him out? He's on the ground hobbling.
Ain't no one got time for that, man. You know how the shortage of cops are right now?
That's the problem. See, and I think that's once again leads to lack of training and lack of de-escalation, right?
You got time. You got into the next call, man. No.
They're not gonna do it. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm fucking saying. They had a plethora of options other than shooting this individual who they say was going to harm them with this knife. If you make, I don't know, a 10-foot parameter around this individual or radius, right? Like a circumference, whatever the fuck you want to call it, around them. What's he going to do, bro? Nothing.
Wait a second. Surrounded with what? Cop cars or?
No, just a couple of cops. Because instead of ending this person's life, who clearly was probably having some type of mental breakdown, something along the line of that, because I think it just said that he had just lost his legs. So.
Oh, that sucks, man.
Yeah. So the guy who he lost his legs last year, he lost his legs last year, which could, it doesn't exactly say how long it did. May have been mentally distressed. I mean, dude, right? If you lose your legs, you're pretty fucking depressed.
I mean, what they could have done was grab a shield, right? And then kind of just pressed on him until he's subdued on the ground, right? That's what you do. You get closer to him, you get closer to him.
What is this?
You just press on him until he's subdued, and then you just arrest him.
How about this? How about you just do something pretty simple, which is you kind of back away from him, because I can see if you have a suspect on foot, they can cover a significant amount of ground. If you have a suspect with no feet, it's going to be very difficult for them to get anywhere. Once again, this is just a lack of de-escalation training and just overuse of violence, right? Overuse of violence. It just looks horrible. It's just horrible. You killed a fucking W amputee. He has no legs, ladies and gentlemen. No legs. No legs. Yes.
Interesting.
No legs. Anyways, moving on. Just
this is SoCal.
This is Southern
California. San Diego?
It's SoCal. SoCal. Let me see which wonderful city. It's Huntington Park.
Oh, I've been there. Very nice.
Yeah. No, well,
Huntington Beach.
Yeah, well, they shot a W amputee.
Dude, Huntington Beach is no joke though. They got some really rough seagulls. I got attacked by one.
Yeah, well, then apparently the police officers were not prepared to deal with a double amputee. Oh my God. Just fucking it's gross. It's gross. All right, moving on. This one's interesting, and this one just popped up too. So and it's crazy. New Jersey councilwoman shot and killed in a possible targeted attack outside of her home. So she's a New Jersey councilwoman, mother of a young daughter, and leader of her church, was shot and killed in a possible attack outside of her home. Her name was Eunice Dwumfor. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Was the first sitting elected official in a recent memory. So she is a councilwoman and a Black Republican, which is, she literally, as most people said, her whole life was just starting. She was sitting inside of a white SUV, and she sustained multiple gunshot wounds.
That's sad, man.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like, I think, and the area she was in, I think, was okay. They apparently said it was a targeted attack. And here's the crazy part. Eyewitness reported hearing more than 10 shots. 10 shots.
Let me tell you something. As much as you want to make people want to make this a political thing where she was a Republican.
Yeah.
In New Jersey, I think this is personal. 10 shots?
I don't know, bro.
10 shots, dude.
Right. You could be right. It could be personal, or, not trying to be whatever, but this is New Jersey. I mean, there's a lot of there's a lot of crime and crime syndicates, a lot of things of that nature. And who knows what she's involved in, or, we could find out tomorrow. It was she said apparently she had just gotten married and she had a 12-year-old daughter. Maybe this was a previous, husband or whatever, or somebody, but man, that's pretty crazy. I mean, literally shot right outside of her home, shot 10 times. And they're saying it was for sure a targeted attack. And she was a councilwoman.
Well, the thing is, you emptied out the clip. That's what happened. This guy emptied out the clip.
Well, I guess that's, what depends.
It's 12 shots in a clip.
No. Well, it depends. It depends if you're in California. California had 10 shots. Texas.
No, come on, seriously.
Yeah, come on, what are you talking about? How much weight can you hold? And that's your shot. That's how many shots you can have in a clip. No, but typically you got 15 to 17 shots, or drum clips, etc. We got it all here. But on the West Coast, it's a 10-shot max.
Well, this is New Jersey. It's East Coast.
East Coast, I think, and I don't know if they had those same gun laws. I know that whenever Glock, all these gun manufacturers make clips specific to California. I've never heard of a New Jersey clip, but I've heard of a California clip. So either way, and it could be just a 10-shotter, but he said at least 10 shots, but we don't know. He probably did empty the whole clip. I mean, whoever it was meant to kill the individual. There was not meant to be someone around. So I think this is an interesting one. This is one to kind of keep an eye on. Who knows? Hopefully next week we can update, with someone who's caught, because apparently she had a daughter. She just got married. She seemed to be like she was trying to do some good. Whether you agree with her politically or not, it seemed like she was just coming on the scene, and who knows? Could have been a bright light in politics, maybe whatever it was, but to be extinguished so quickly. And she's very young, I believe 30 years old. So she was very young lady. It's very sad. So her daughter will not have a mother. So they're looking for things to happen. Yeah, it is sad. And
I think,
but they are stating, though, they do not believe her political preference has anything to do with the killing.
Well, they don't know that. Come on.
Well, no, that means they have an idea who the shooter is.
Okay. I'm telling you, it sounds personal. You have to clip on somebody and you target that. That's personal, man.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think that's something that's happening. So you will hear this, probably be some conspiracy theories, something going on around that. This seems to be, like you said, more of a personal thing. But who knows? Who knows? And hopefully it is, not hopefully it is, but hopefully it isn't something that's, this crazy, conspiracy of Maleficent, but or whatever it is. It's a tragedy. Poor lady died for whatever reason. It was ridiculous.
Talking about personal vendettas.
Oh,
there is
I like where this one's going. I like that. You are a professional, sir.
There's another story flying around the interweb, or the tweeter, or whatever you want to call that. Anyway, there's a story going around the internet saying that the Tyre Nichols murder, I'm going to call that what it is. It's a murder.
It was a straight murder.
Yeah, it was a personal matter between one of the cops and Tyrese. Okay. The story goes that one of the cops was the ex-boyfriend of someone that Tyrese was dating.
Yes.
It was the baby daddy of the woman that Tyrese was dating and working with at a FedEx facility. Okay. So that's
it was
rumor.
Demetrius. He's trying to say that he was in a relationship with one of the officers, Demetrius Hayes' ex-girlfriend and baby mama. That's okay. And this was tweeted by an actor by the name of Sir Major. I don't know where he's from. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. So
actor and a model.
Anyway, the story is that so this was a targeted attack on Tyrese from one of the officers in this Scorpion Sting unit or whatever, and it kind of, and so there's a picture of it within the video. They captured a screenshot of that officer actually taking a picture with his cell phone of the victim. Now the story is that this picture was sent to the woman soon after the attack. So the only way to confirm this is true is if the woman has that picture in her phone. Then okay, it's definitely it was a personal attack on this man with the police force.
Right.
So now, right now it's unconfirmed rumor, but if that woman shows up with a picture on her phone from that man's phone number, it's game over. Okay.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, they can tie that kind of relationship. Yeah, then this is a personal vendetta.
That would be fucked up, man.
Well, I think that immediately bumps it to murder one. That's death penalty type shit, right?
Oh yeah, dude. That's premeditated murder.
That's premeditated murder, and I don't know if it bumps it. Well, if you throw in official oppression, well, no, they all took part in it. I mean, that's the thing is that this is and I'm not for sure, but the way that they acted as a gang and an organized crime type thing, I think they are all going to go down for the same crime because they all well, yeah. So if one gets it, you all get it. It's the same thing. Like, let's say you drive the getaway car and some guy kills a cop, you're up for capital murder too.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I don't know, but I think this is murder one for sure. If they can show intent. Yeah. I mean, it may not be capital murder, but it'll definitely be murder one because they're going to say that they meant to beat his ass. They may not meant to kill him. Well, they did get murdered too. So maybe there is some truth. Either way, there were some people that are now disputing it. There's some social activist person who said talked to his the parents of Tyre Nichols, and he said they said that was absolutely false. But these are all rumors either way. But it's definitely a rumor you're going to see kind of going around that there was something like that going on.
The reason it makes sense is for several reasons. One, they still can't find a reason why he was stopped. Okay. I don't think I've ever heard of a reason why what was the reason he was stopped to begin with?
Still don't. They claimed it was a traffic stop, but I haven't heard anything else beyond that.
What traffic stop? What, his light was out? I mean, come on.
He was only a couple hundred feet from his house.
Yeah, in a neighborhood.
Yeah,
what is a rolling stop?
Probably. They apparently, like you said, he was scared too. He bailed. I haven't heard anything. He know maybe the guy? I'm wrong. Maybe I haven't heard anything, and I could be wrong, but I haven't heard anything about them being as in a felony warrant or anything. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't really any talk of warrants. I don't know if they said if he had a suspended license, but something just doesn't fit. And so that's why I think some people may be grasping at some of these straws, especially in regards to to the situation because it just doesn't make sense. Like, why would you bail over a traffic stop? And then why was the attack so brutal? So heinous.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It was weird.
And this rumor can be very easily dispelled. I mean, it's very easy to connect it. Either this woman, if she exists, has a picture on her phone, or she doesn't. You know, it's very easy.
Yeah, it is weird. It's crazy. It's just
yeah.
This whole thing. There's some, and and this may not be the connection, but there's something else going on here. This was a very brutal and heinous attack.
Again, maybe it was personal.
Maybe it was personal. Something happened. I think more and more we dig into it, there's something here because it just was such a brutal attack. It looked like just a gang beating. You know what I'm saying? For those ladies and gentlemen that may be a little bit younger or older, I don't know how they do things now, but when I grew up, in order for someone to get into a gang, they had to get jumped in, right?
Oh, Jesus.
This looked worse than that. This looked like, I mean, they just beat the shit out of this guy. I mean, they really fucked him up. And for what purpose? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, a gang, they'll jump you in, but they don't want to incapacitate you. You know, they want you to be part of their members.
I've seen some dudes get jumped into gangs. They fucked him up. I remember this one guy, they fucked up his back, still messed up to this day. The people depends on
what good is he to the gang if his back is bad. I'm
telling you, these guys had problems, man. They had serious mental issues. But like you said, I mean, this was really bad though. This seemed personal. As much as this may not be it, there was some type of tie to him, to those cops. Something didn't work out. They've interacted before. Something funky, right? Something.
You know what I'm confused about though is, why did the paramedics get fired?
Well, because the failure to render aid.
How?
They didn't help. Yeah, no.
The cops
so apparently,
told him to go away, and they were
no. So apparently, after they got done whooping his ass, the paramedics were just sitting there talking shit, and he was kind of asking for help, and they weren't doing anything for him.
Oh.
So yeah, no. It was a complete failure. It was a complete failure. Completely. Even the post care was a complete failure. They literally, he was just sitting there like dozing in and out, passing out, and they just let him be, even though he asked for help.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a complete. You know
what this looked like? Sometimes growing up, you watch the Discovery Channel.
Yeah.
And you watch these tribes, or sometimes in the animal kingdom, like they'll attack this one like animal or whatever.
Yeah.
Within the same species. It looked just like that, dude. It reminded me of just seeing that. And you're like, whoa, like, you watch this in the beginning, you're like, what the fuck are they doing?
Yeah, they're fucking him up, man. And they were hitting him hard. I mean, really hard. Then he caught him with that asp. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you know, not everyone knows what an asp is, but that baton is a steel rod.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of it, it has a 1 pound weight. So doesn't seem a lot, but when it's on the end of what looked like as you can tell, and this is postulated, I don't know if this is necessarily true, but they said he hit him so hard he bent the rod. That's why you see him keep jamming it into the concrete to try to close his asp. That may not necessarily be true, because sometimes when you open an asp, it's difficult to close it because it has like a weird mechanism to keep it from folding down when you use it. But he hit him really hard. And and I've seen literally seen what an asp can do to another human being with one hit. He hit him several times with that thing. I mean, I saw a guy get hit in the face by one and literally split his face open.
Yeah.
And that was one hit. And that dude was a big guy. Right, this guy, Tyre Nichols was. I mean, people don't realize he was like 6'3", 6'4", but he was 145 pounds.
Dude, no way.
Because he had UC,
ulcerative colitis.
Yeah, and IBS. So he literally was kind of a sickly person.
Poor guy, man.
Yep,
terrible.
Poor guy, beat to death. It's sad, and nonetheless,
sad.
You're probably gonna hear more rumors like this. But I think one of them might stick because something just doesn't make sense. You don't hit people like that for no reason. like, don't get me wrong. The reason, and a lot of things people don't realize, Rodney King was a very big man. That's why he survived that beating.
Yeah.
He was a big dude. I mean, he was not a little man. But this guy was 145 pounds, and there's just only so much a body can take. And unfortunately, they just let him have it. And he didn't receive proper medical care afterwards. It was just such a sad moment. It was a sad thing. Horrible thing. But as we cruise on towards the end of our evening, we will talk about one more controversial thing that occurred today, or not necessarily. It might be today. Republicans, Republicans in the House of Representatives has voted to remove Representative Ilhan Omar from the Foreign Affairs Committee. In particular, because they said that she basically said that she made past anti-Semitic remarks, and she signed a resolution recognizing Israel as a first, she basically said she basically compared the United States and Israel to the Taliban and Hamas, basically kind of saying that Israel was a terrorist state. She said some other things too.
Not only that, but she voted against Iron Dome for Israel.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some things. She has made her, whether or not she is anti-Semitic or not, and that's a very sensitive thing to always kind of be aware of. But she apparently had differing thoughts. She said some stupid things. She got called out for it, and now she, of course, to try to, I guess, give a bad face to the Republicans, signed some agreement saying she recognizes Israel as a legitimate ally and condemning anti-Semitism. But it's kind of like when a white guy uses the N-word and then goes, "Oh, but I love black people." Well, maybe you shouldn't have used that word. I mean, it'd be like, well,
yeah, but I use that word to call my cat, or refer to my friend, or
oh no, he doesn't,
or call my mom. I mean, come on, I use that word all the time.
Call my mom. And there we go. But it's funny, and not to, and definitely not to. I'm not trying to make short of that word. Right? It's a very legitimate. It's a horrible word, but I think for a while, at least, Mexicans were kind of given the pass during the 90s.
Really?
They use it a lot. Yeah, you listen to South Park Mexican, a lot of like the rappers back then.
Yeah,
they used it like crazy. You're like, huh? Wouldn't do that now.
Dude, I mean, I hear it a lot here in Houston.
Right, like a lot of Mexicans kind of got it. They kind of got the pass in the 90s, but nonetheless, you see this. She's been removed off a committee. It's some crazy shit, right? I mean,
it's the new standard, man.
Well, say what you want to say about, what do they call them? The squad.
Squad.
I think there's a wrong way to go about it, because we've talked about Ilhan Omar before, and it was regards to the way that she was basically creating a political subunit and a strongholding of I think, I forgot exactly where she's from. I don't know. I don't think it's Ethiopia.
Somalia.
It's Somalian immigrants in her district. She was strong arming them to vote for her. There's then also the issue with her not marrying her brother, but there's a lot of ethical things that may not exactly be on the up and up with her.
There's also the fact that she married the white dude in her campaign, who turned out to be married. Yeah. He left his wife for her.
Well, it is what it is. Well, come on, let's be honest. If we're gonna start casting stones,
I will start casting a stone. Give it to me.
All of the fucking House of Representatives, every fucking buddy in government would have broken windows if it came to infidelity, because those guys.
But you know what? Not everyone is Muslim. Okay, Muslims they have a different kind of code.
You can't say that. You know what? People have been saying this for whatever, saying, "Oh, I'm super Christian," or "I'm super Muslim," or "I'm super religious." Guess what? It happens, because it's the tale as old as time. Boy meets girl, girl meets boy. Doesn't matter what, they end up fucking. So, that's just how it goes. But what I do see is other ethical concerns with her, especially, like I said, with the way that she's strong arming her district. And, like there's a lot of improprieties in regards to the way that they're filling out ballots for Somali immigrants to get to vote for her. That's more along the lines of this, what she said about Israel. The fact that she was on the Foreign Affairs Committee, she's not a very senior congresswoman. So that appointment by itself is very political. You know what I'm saying?
The thing is that, okay.
But then, of course, they did put Marjorie Taylor Greene on the what's it called? With the fucking Committee for Homeland Defense, Homeland Security. She's on that. She's on that committee, and she was literally like masturbating to like people on January 6th. So, you could say that this is very ironic that they would take her off of that, but keep Marjorie Taylor Greene on the Homeland Security front.
Yeah, but Marjorie Taylor Greene didn't do anything.
Her tweets during her tweets, yeah, she did.
No, but this was before she was in the Congress. She was judged for something that happened before Congress.
She sent several tweets during the whole January 6th during the what's it called?
And that's not a wrong thing. Okay, she can say whatever she wants.
And Ilana Maher can too.
No. Wait a second. But Marjorie Taylor Greene was removed from her committees for something that she did prior to being in Congress. Okay. Hey, I'm just saying.
She said no, but I'm trying to tell you,
the bar is very low.
She tweeted things about January 6th while she was in Congress.
Okay.
And she said a bunch of other shit like adrenochrome and stuff. I mean, look, I get it, right? They wanted to hit it. They wanted to make a public enemy look bad, especially someone from the squad, because it's payback for the super progressive part of the Democratic Party. I get it, but this was kind of gross in a way. But at the same time, I also think that, that whatever party you're from, some of this extremism on both ends is just not. It's not very stately, right? It should not really be part of government, right?
Well, okay, she's not like she's going to be kicked out of her committees. She's not going to be like Marjorie Taylor Greene that wasn't on any committee. She can still be on committees. She's just not that one because that one involves travel. It involves meeting diplomats from other countries. Yes, Israel too. And you can't be saying shit like that, man.
I get it. But Marjorie Taylor Greene's on the Homeland Security thing.
What's wrong with that?
Dude, she fucking supported people that tried to that. Okay, and this is the best way I'm going to say about January 6th. And whether you agree or you don't have to, she supported a bunch of dumbasses that literally, I think, there was a contingent of individuals that really thought that they were going to overthrow the United States government that day.
Okay, but MTG,
and she supports them.
No. She supports the people that were let in, like the old ladies who were, who walked into the Capitol. You
can say let in or whatever, but these people, there was a subsect of those people that literally believed that they.
Oh, you mean the federal agents? Yeah, of course.
Whatever you say, she was backing them. And so, if you're gonna play that type of card, you should do it with your own home team. But nonetheless, she has been removed. She gave a scathing remark on the floor talking about it. It definitely.
You guys have anybody.
Well, I think the squad's got targets on their back because they are the super progressive part of the Democratic Party, and they did a lot of shit talking when they had the majority in Congress, right?
Yeah,
they did. So unfortunately, hey, it is a tit for tat type thing. But it's where it goes. That's
maybe
politics.
She could be in the birthday committee, pass her on the card for everyone can sign it.
Maybe the calendar committee.
The calendar committee, or maybe the what else? The party committee. They make.
Oh boy.
Yeah, dude.
The happy birthday committee. They have a birthday party. They make sure every congressman has their birthday party done correctly.
Exactly.
I don't think that's
birthday committee. It's fun, man.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Maybe her and Marjorie Taylor Greene should just have their own committee and they should lock them in a room, and whoever comes out can be on whatever committee they want to be.
Nice.
I hate to break it. I put my money
What
on
about Adam Schiff?
Marjorie.
Is he about to be kicked out too?
I don't know. Maybe. I
I
don't think
hope.
so. I don't think so. Well, what's his name? Isn't he talking about running for what's her name?
Senator
Feinstein. He's talking about running for her seat.
Adam Schiff, yeah.
Yeah,
Can you imagine him as a
he
senator?
might be
No,
kicked
man. No
out, but
way,
he might be
dude.
moving on up. Oh, dude, I think he takes her seat.
No, I know. It's I know.
I think
Me
he
too.
takes her seat, and from what I gather from his comments regarding her because he's already announced that he's going to run, his comments is that he's already talked to her. Because it's funny how Feinstein is just trying to grasp to power, even though she literally has no idea where she's at.
Isn't that bad?
She has no idea where she's at, like none. Like there's no way you can hide her mental I guess what would you call it? I guess depreciation, decline. There's nothing you can do to hide it now. She has no idea where she's at right now, and she's a senator in the United States. But then of course that goes to the whole fucking concept of Octarians as leaders. Look, I get it. You want to be respected as an older person, and you should be, but you should not be making decisions, right? We don't even let those fuckers drive. And that's where we're at. So I think honestly, they're just at some point we need to all sit down and have a age limit for the United States Congress and for government total. You cannot be a president if you're going to pass 75. Done. Never again. Because it's silly, right?
Yeah, I don't think these positions were meant for people to live that long. I mean, this was written back in the 1700s where life expectancy was like 45.
Exactly.
So, what does you have to be 35 to be a president? So people were expecting you to live, you got a 10-year window to be a president.
Yeah. That's it.
And that was cool, right? Yeah. That was doable. But now, because of technology, now you're reaching 70, 80, 90, and now, hold on a second now.
Yeah,
maybe we shouldn't. Maybe we should have put a limit on that thing.
Yeah, Pelosi. You have a lot of Octarians in the government, and they don't need to be there. I'm sorry, and I'm not trying to say that they're not smart people. They're definitely smart people, but what they are not is healthy, and they're not the best that our country can put in those spots right now. And they're just people clinging on to power because that's all they care about.
Hey, going back to something about the population, how you mentioned China's on decline.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that Gen Z is the smallest generation ever?
Yeah, this is what I've heard. That's what I heard. Millennials are actually a very large generation. Very large.
Millennials were, they were large, but they weren't as big as, say, Gen X or baby boomers, of course.
Yep.
They were smaller, but Gen Z is actually the smallest population.
Oh yeah, I believe it. I believe it. Millennials did not have as many kids.
Oh no,
as Gen X did. Gen X and baby boomers, the ones that popped out, the millennials. I mean, there were a lot of kids. We had a lot of kids, man. But Gen Z is definitely a very, very small number. But you have to blame it on 9/11, things like that. I mean, a lot of shit fucked people up. That was a rough.
Well, yeah, I mean, had 2008 crash too.
Yeah, the crash, everything. So yeah, they're definitely a small population. So, but with that being said, I think we're gonna shorten the night, I guess. If we decided together, we're gonna end this evening. And of course our illustrious, he will be in post edit, probably bleeping out half the shit we say. Yeah, Benjamin James will probably also be listing where you can find us. I think he'll give us our emails and Instagram stuff and all that's wonderful things. And once again, if you guys have any comments or any things that you want to leave us, please let us know. Please leave us some reviews. If you're a brand new listener, especially on iTunes or something, it helps with the logarithm and all that shit. We would like to try to get out to a couple more people, not necessarily because we think we're the truth, we think we're whatever, but because we are trying to give you a balanced interpretation of what we feel we see, and especially with the fact that we do have varying political points, and also we come from Texas, which is kind of fucking cool.
I want to give a big shout out though.
Yeah, go for it.
I want to give a big shout out to Macedonia. He's still there hanging in. Thank you very much, Macedonia.
Listener. Yes, and if you please write us a review in Macedonia on iTunes, and anyone else, please, if you guys could India also. India's
Thank you, our Indian brothers, for downloading our show as well.
I would love for you guys to please download something. If you guys get bored, whatever, just stop by, leave us a little review. It lets more people hear us, and that way we can continue to try to grow a very grassroots, a very just regular thing. And in that way, you know, who knows? We got a couple more listeners. It'd be cool. But we appreciate your time. We thank you guys, and hope you have a good night. And try not to I don't know. Try not to fuck up too much tomorrow or the rest of the week. Keep it real. Represent. Night, everybody.
See ya.